Hey guys, welcome back to World of Warships. Today we're taking a look at the Wisconsin again. This ship is coming up in the Dockyard. The only thing I'm worried about this Dockyard really is the mission design. This is shaping up to be one of the best Dockyards we've ever seen, an amazing Tier 7 premium partway through, and then a really interesting Tier 10 premium battleship at the end. The Wisconsin is of course like an Iowa at Tier 10, so up a tier you have to gain some stuff. And with this ship, you get battle cruiser dispersion in 2.0 Sigma, allowing us to, most of the time, smash broadsides and get a lot of citadels. Unfortunately, missing the Monty there. Don't worry, we're going to get some nice hits later on in this video. But what this thing really needs to do is consistently deal good damage to broadsides. You consistently need to get those citadels. Here the Monty's angling, but here's an example. We hit all of our shells pretty much into his bow, and get 14k. It's a very, very accurate battleship when we're not dealing with aim bugs or shells going low or lock-on not actually getting you lock-on dispersion. There are issues with this game, unfortunately, but the way the Wisconsin works is when you're not dealing with those bugs, you're getting some of the best dispersion at Tier 10. Consider that something like the St. Vincent also has the same battlecruiser dispersion, but it has 1.6 Sigma, Sigma being the tendency for the shells to go to the middle of where you're aiming, that dispersion ellipse. So this ship should be way more accurate, and that is also on top of the American accuracy upgrade. Going from 7% up to 11% is a very, very big deal. Anytime I'm running a full secondary battleship and I'm missing shots in that, a lot of people are quick to point out that I'm not running accuracy mod. And that 7% is enough to make a difference. So another 4% is going to be a big deal in my opinion, and it should be. So we're going to land some very, very nice salvos. If you do end up getting the Wisconsin, you should notice your dispersion is way better than an Iowa. But that's a Tier 9. We're comparing to Tier 10s here, unfortunately, for the Wisconsin. That's where some of the disappointment comes in. You're comparing this ship to a Montana that gains a whole gun turret. So even though the Monty doesn't have that battlecruiser dispersion or the improved Sigma, well, it's got more guns to throw at the wall, and that allows you to get some really nice shots. There's an excellent example of our better dispersion, as well as our funny button. Haven't really talked about it this video, I guess. You're gaining extra reload anytime you use your F key. It's really powerful, 50% reload booster here. That's essentially like you're just giving this ship a unlimited Bourgogne reload booster, but it needs to farm it up with some gun hits. Look at that dispersion, man. It's beautiful. It really is beautiful. Assuming you're not getting those aiming bugs, it is an amazing ship to play with. Unfortunately, I did find myself often dealing with aim bugs or just getting unlucky. I had a lot of bad games with this ship. Continuing even after those first impressions where I really tried to make this thing work. I think I've played 10 to 15 games in this thing total, maybe around the higher end of that. And I've had 2 or 3 really good games, I would say. The rest of them have been pretty lackluster. And I've been finding myself just thinking of this as an average Tier 10 battleship. It sounds crazy, I know. On paper, the ship is nuts. Battlecruiser dispersion, 2.0 Sigma, Bourgogne reload booster, as well as Sam Martin consumable reload as well. Like, that's really, really, really strong. Not only that, you have a way below water citadel, which we'll look at towards the end of this video. So you shouldn't ever be getting citadeled. Although, I'll be honest with you guys, I got citadeled quite a lot in this thing already. Yesterday on stream, I probably took 3, 4, 5 citadels while playing this ship in about that many games. I don't know how, because it shouldn't be possible. I never citadel in Illinois, but that is the comparison there, unfortunately. We do find ourselves against this Thunder, and we smash them for 3 citadels at that range. This ship is very powerful. And unfortunately, salvos like that make me really question some of the closer range salvos that this ship just misses or doesn't pen, or dispersion gets all wacky. Unfortunately, because it is a powerful ship, and I think a lot of people are very excited for it, myself included. I was very, very excited for this ship to come out, and I'm glad it's in the Dockyard, so we're going to see a lot of you guys probably get this thing, and I'm very curious to see how you guys find this ship, because I do rate it. It's just a mid kind of Tier 10 battleship in my opinion. Even with all these gimmicks and special abilities, I find it to just be an average Tier 10 battleship. Again, we are missing out on a lot of HP here compared to something like the Montana. I also found it to be much less tanky than something like the Montana. Don't get me wrong, it still can survive a pretty massive amount of incoming damage thanks to this F key. This Sam Martin consumable reload essentially is very, very, very powerful. Anytime you use your F key and your consumables are on reload, you essentially just get them back instantly. So you could have an American damage control and an improved heal. It's like the Montana heal, where it's not a super heal, but it's much better than a normal one. You get those back in like 10 seconds. So you have 30 seconds of immunity time, and you get a big heal for nearly 20k, and then 10 seconds later, you get another 30 seconds of immunity time, and another 20k heal. That's powerful. That's very powerful. I've got a very good clip towards the end of this video to show you about that. It's a good ship, but it's not as good as I think it shows on paper. And I think that really comes down to some of the problems with this game when it comes to aim bugs and the inconsistencies of armor piercing. If you just spam HE though, well, maybe you won't have to deal with that as much. And that's what I'm really worried about, is this ship might just become a long-range HE spammer, because you will easily hit 10,000 damage HE salvos lighting fires on this ship. No problem. No problem to do that level of damage out of this thing. So I'm very worried that that's just going to be the playstyle of this ship. It's going to sit broadside because most people won't be taking citadels. That's what I'm worried about too, especially. I'm scared that I'm going to find a Wisconsin that's just going to spam HE at me, and he's going to sit flat broadside, and I'm not going to get any citadels on him. Meanwhile, I'm playing this thing and eating a ton of citadels on stream. Essex, flat broadside, stationary. Now this is where we need this ship to perform. This is what we get that Battlecruiser 2.0 dispersion for. We really, really need this to land. These are the salvos that we want out of a ship like this. And the dispersion's alright, and it's good enough to get us a full kill there. That would have been a devastating strike, and I'm very, very happy with that. Always killing a carrier feels excellent. Notice the, well, I guess the clip jumped forward, my bad, but the number 2 turret is really, really disappointing on this ship as far as the kiting angles. So when you're kiting away from someone, that second turret is very hard to get online. Odd dispersion there, not sure how we missed a stationary defense, and I aimed right at his center of mass. It all went left. There's weird issues with this game, or it's just unlucky dispersion. Either one, unfortunately for us. I do need to play some more Iowa or Missouri or even Monty, but I really want to play some of these tier 9s to really see how they compare. Maybe I'm just really sleeping on this ship, because that is 46,000 damage at 23 kilometers into a Kansas, which has a rather hard, it's not a like impossible citadel to hit like Wisconsin should be, but it's not the easiest to citadel at Kansas, especially at those ranges. That's an insane salvo to land. I don't think a Missouri or an Iowa is going to do that all that consistently. So I really want to play those ships just to see the difference, feel the difference, because maybe coming from playing Maine, coming back from a break, maybe my expectations are just too high and I don't understand just how good this ship is. I could be totally wrong. Something I do want to, I guess, shout out or something is a friend of mine, MalteseKnight. Links will be in the description for his YouTube channel. He's been absolutely crushing people with this Wisconsin. So that also leads me to believe that maybe I'm wrong about this ship. Maybe I'm just getting unlucky. Maybe I'm playing it badly. But he's been absolutely smashing people. Definitely go check him out if you haven't. Very, very good player. Great content creator for this game as well. He streams a lot more than I do too. He's much better at that. So if you're interested in live streams that last a little longer than 2 hours, that'd be a good channel to go check out. So I think the Wisconsin is kind of mid, and I might be wrong about it. That's essentially what this video is. My experience is that it's just an alright tier 10 battleship. Sam Martin here, a little bit broadside, and we do only get 2 full pens, 4 overpens on him. It's fine, you know, it's fine. But the damage is good in these games, up nearly over 200,000 damage in this one as well. Defense poking out. What do we know about a defense, guys? It's got the biggest citadel in the game, very, very easy to hit. So we just aim bow, we overmatch his bow, and easily dev strike him. No, we actually get a bounce and a couple overpens. 1 citadel, it's good. It's good, don't get me wrong. But this is what should have happened, in my opinion, especially with a ship with 2.0 Sigma Battlecruiser dispersion. This is what we would expect to happen. So we do get him in the end. Don't worry, we get him in the end. I'm not that mad about it. But it's just these little inconsistencies here and there. Keep in mind, I'm also showing you the best version of this ship, all right? These are the highlights, of course, that this ship is shining in. I do want to show that because the first impressions were overall very, very negative. So I need to balance that out with some positives about this ship. Final clip here for you guys, really showing off the immense tankiness that this ship can have if you can time the F key, the funny button, the combat instructions properly. I found it kind of difficult to farm up these combat instructions as well, for whatever reason. Especially early game, it's a little difficult. Spotting can be a little bit intermittent, and when you need to land but let's be honest, around three good salvos into someone within, 50 seconds of downtime when the progress starts to be removed, it's a little tricky. Nice big hit on the Azumo there. He actually got a nice hit into us earlier, 30k, but notice we can heal all of it back. That means he didn't Citadel us. But there were certainly times where I did get Citadel'd, and you can tell by the amount you can heal back. Now, we're down to less than 1,000 HP. I'm kind of panicking here, so I think I underlead this. I am still trying to hit under his rear turret. Napoleons are very hard to Citadel, so you're going to have to aim for weird spots like that. But we get to our heal. Our damage control is giving us 30 seconds of immunity with this build, and we're alive. We actually lived this, at least so far. We need Monty to not light a fire here, but even if he does, I don't think I would have died. Now, I'm waiting for my heal to be finished, okay? Notice that if we use our special combat instructions and our consumables are active, we're not going to get them reduced cooldown because they're still active. Now, here we go. Push our funny button, 15 seconds, and we get our heal back, and another 5 seconds or so, and then we get our damage control. Pretty insane. So if you can time it, the reload boost plus the extra tankiness, the extra consumables back, is pretty nice. I get very greedy here, but I can be greedy because we get our damage control and our heal back. That's powerful. That's very, very powerful, in my opinion. So using these combat instructions is very important to maximizing this ship. I think possibly early on, and especially in the first impressions, I wasn't using the special combat instructions aggressively enough. I think you mostly will want to be using these combat instructions as a reload booster, and it's nice to use that as a tankiness thing later on in the game. If you get low, maybe start to save it for your extra tankiness to get back to those heals and damage controls. But early game, try and farm it up as quickly as you can, and then just use it aggressively as a reload booster. That would be my suggestion with these combat instructions. Decent game there, nothing too special, but really just interesting to see these combat instructions working so well to keep us alive there. And as for the build on this ship, I did move to something a little less greedy. Certainly maybe overcooked it a bit on the build with this ship in the first impressions, but I still think you can get away with the super heavy AP shells and Furious, but this is what I've changed to, and it worked pretty well. Got some very good games, as you saw. Running Brisk allows us to flank a little bit more, since we do have not very many high caliber guns in this ship. We need to be finding those broadsides, so Brisk allowing us to get into position better, flank better, sooner is always going to be helpful for us. 12.9 detect also means that, well, we're pretty stealthy for a tier 10 battleship. Certainly is very nice to have that alongside these, most of the time, accurate guns outside of bugs in this game. And then, of course, going Emergency Repair Expert and Conceal Fire Prevention. Very, very basic stuff, but that's the build that I was running. As well as on the equipment side, running Range Mod, because there's not much else here. It also gives you a slight, and I need to emphasize this, a slight dispersion buff. The longer your range is, the slightly better, I think it's vertical dispersion you get. Very minor, though. We are, of course, going with accuracy in the 6th slot, though. 11% is huge. That is just a massive deal and well worth running over reload, in my opinion. And then going with some of the extra goodies here. So getting that damage control up to 30 seconds. You don't need to if you don't have one of these or don't want to pay the coal for one of those. Just go main armaments or whatever. It's fine. Same with defensive fire. You don't need it. The defensive fire is just okay. It can do decently against tier 8 carriers, but against tier 10 and super ship carriers, well, I mean, at this point, if you're looking at Wisconsin, you've played this game. You know how AA works in this game. I don't need to tell you. Maximum speed's pretty good here. No speed boost, but again, we are focused on that Battlecruiser Dispersion 2.0 Sigma and a reload booster and a consumable reload booster as well. Very, very, very powerful gimmicks here. And it's just kind of a mediocre ship. I don't know. Just didn't have the best games with it so far, I guess. Getting Citadel kind of sucks when, well, the Citadel's way, way, way below water here. Yes, overmatch the roof, but keep in mind there's this armor plating also protecting it. So you got to get very lucky to Citadel this thing. Keep in mind it's the same as the Illinois, actually. So if you've been fighting in Illinois, and I've fought those from time to time, I never Citadel Illinois, man. Just to be totally honest with you, I never Citadel these, so I don't expect that I will be Citadeling the Wisconsin. And I got smashed in it quite a few times, man. Not a huge fan. Not a huge fan of that, but I would prefer all of these Citadels be raised well above water. I would really love it if Wargaming prioritized dealing damage to ships, massive Citadel damage to ships when they're making mistakes, i.e. going broadside at closer ranges, please. And then dealing a little less damage when they're angled properly. So less overmatch damage, more Citadel broadside damage. That's what I would love to see. Although I don't see us going that direction. In fact, we're going the opposite direction with things like the Wisconsins. That's the one thing I don't like about it. But hey, this Dockyard is shaping up to be a good one. 3,200 doubloons is nearly half the cost of previous Dockyards. And you're going to get the return of those mid-tier premium ships. So even if you don't want to spend the doubloons, you can get a pretty fun Tier 7 West Virginia 44, fun brawling battleship. And all it costs you is some time, which is valuable, to be fair. But no in-game currency, no real-world money required for that one. And if you already have the West Virginia 44, well, you're going to get a few Dockyard phases, enough to complete the Wisconsin Dockyard without using any doubloons, which is very cool as well. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.